Need to hear one of our shows again? We've got them on podcast. Go to fmmoneytalkradio.com. Scroll down to Podcast on Demand. Pick your show and it's on. Podcast on fmmoneytalkradio.com.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Café is open for business. Live from the Brooklyn Café studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat at the Brooklyn Café and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, or a movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in free 888-994-4995 right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Café. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Café on a very rainy, pouring down, sun shining.
Hey, no sun shining today, actually.
I'm telling you, it is pouring out there. On the
you like the rain.
Wednesday.
I don't mind it, but this is just enough already. It kind of changes my whole mood.
Some people drove in here from what, Jupiter?
Yeah. Kind of changes my whole mood of the whole situation, so I can say happy wet Wednesday to you.
It's funny, the guys were all talking about you in there.
Oh, jeez.
About how you give us a plan and then you change it.
Why?
Because you add on stuff, doing things that things don't, you're like, what is it with the word doing? What? I mean, I don't understand this. You guys, you come in here. Me or her? Both of you. She goes, I want to do the show standing, or we're not built for standing. Oh, now after we built it for standing, now I want to do it sitting. Okay, so we move her from one side of the video to the other. So what does Slick do? Oh, move it to the other side. After I set it all up, okay, let's move it to the other side. So we're like a ping pong, right? And she says, I want to see Remix Social and all this stuff, right? So we do all of that. He still forgets to record the damn show.
And then we heard her screech.
Because he didn't turn off the mics. He forgot the slider has the mics on. That's one Dawn. The other Dawn is, okay, let's do this. Let's take pictures. Let's do this. Let's do that. So you have everybody doing something away from what they were doing.
But really, at the end of the day, it was all parts of what we were doing.
No.
The whole was greater than the sum of the parts.
No, I had the guys focus on the kids
on tomorrow.
And
That's
for tomorrow,
thing.
And you took them off in another direction.
Well, I had to do these kids, and then I still call you guys kids, but we had to do our friends from Sensibility kids, and then we had the kids in capes, and now we moved back into a whole nother show in production. A lot of moving parts.
I'm just, and they're saying, and she does another Dawn, and she does and it was been on and on, and she does another Dawn. Now this guy,
okay,
this guy is another guy,
Slick.
Another guy. He's throwing curveballs at me and fastballs at me. Next time I'm gonna let you use your phone to ask the questions to put on the screen. I'm gonna let you do it that way.
And Jessica says, Fred, you're going the wrong way.
Thanks,
Fred,
Jessica.
you're going the wrong way. Instead of sitting down, you go out there. She goes, tell Fred he's going the wrong way. I go, you tell Fred he's going the wrong way.
I know. She points it out to me. Where you going?
Freddie's just getting called out.
I love Fred.
No, and then the
You
best.
love Fred, I
and then the
know.
best part of it, I always get a cup of coffee. Somebody always puts a cup of coffee on for the 12
I
o'clock
did not,
show.
sorry.
Nobody
Coffee.
did. Everybody was real busy. No. So I went to this pot.
Done.
When you turn the pot, it leaks all over the place.
I'm talking
I mean, there's like a coffee bathroom over there. It's like a pool.
Probably. All my fault, all I can
Well,
tell you.
she's the one that started that coffee maker because she can't drink this coffee, no. So I take it on the way up here. I sort of went.
I
like
drink coffee.
Do you like coffee?
I do.
that. Do you know how to make coffee?
Yeah.
Really?
My mom does.
Be very careful what you wish for.
I was actually wondering when your mom was I'm sorry, your mom or Denise, what do we call her?
Don't call me that.
We were talking to your mom and she was saying how you start every morning with coffee and I thought, how did that even start? When did you start drinking coffee, Lexi?
Mornings.
How old were you? Do you remember?
27.
Just
when
last
you
year?
when you started, you've drank coffee
That's
for
me on
about
TV,
5 years
right?
now, right? Every morning.
Yes, we Bob.
Yeah, and she's not in a good mood until
Like,
she
can
has
we
her coffee.
get some light more on the girls, please?
What was light?
Your flashlight's on your phone. Can we
What?
light up the girls' camera, please, while we talk to them? Welcome to the world with Freddie. But I love that we have our
People
friends from
laugh at me.
Sensibility back. We've got Denise, we've got
That's funny,
Bonnie,
too.
we've got Lexi and Jessica joining us. And we have a new friend joining us from Canada. Her name is Michelle Riddle. And I kind of thought this would be a really great segment to get to introduce you ladies to Michelle. She's as far southeast as we are, is as far northwest as she is. And I am not a weather girl. All I can tell you right now, it's raining outside.
Me too.
And she's far away, and it's probably cold
She's
where
by
she
the
is.
North Pole. You know where Santa Claus comes from? That's where she's at.
You
the
think
North
she can
Pole.
see Russia from
Santa
her
Claus
house in
watching me.
Basic?
No, she could see Santa Claus house. I mean, she's way up there. She's way up north. And
What
I'm
is it?
afraid
Right?
because he is
What?
working lights.
But this morning, what we got to
I
do,
pull.
I had to wear a poncho.
this morning, what we got to do is record some audio and a little bit of video because we're going to be putting together a show for our friends from Sensibility to bring awareness to their IDEAL Foundation, IDDEAL, for intellectual developmental disabilities
Yes.
of life, love, living, play, work. All of that encompasses what it's like, a little bit behind the scenes of these girls, and
Donuts.
a little bit of work, a little bit of play, a little bit of fun, all the things that go with that.
I love donuts.
And they unionize because she says, I'm not going to be on film.
Okay, Fred.
I'm not going to be on film. She knows,
Fred.
she knows what I'm talking about. I'm not doing film today. I don't want to. Union. You got to work with the unions here.
She says, I don't think I'm doing that today.
Lexi has many layers and personalities. You never know what you're going to get. So
Don't like storms.
yes, she doesn't like storms.
Yeah, I know. I think we don't mind it for a little bit, but it gets to be a lot day after day, right?
Maybe sensibility. Yep. Betcha.
Red, Don.
My lipstick is pink for you, and I wear pink for you, and everyone knows that when they do our video reviews, if I'm wearing pink, it means Jessica is in the
Because
house.
Jessica always cuckoo today.
No, she's not.
So let's set up a quad. Let's bring Michelle Riddle over because you and I got to talk to Michelle a little bit, and I'm looking forward to Michelle to meet Denise and Bonnie as well, and the girls. And she's got an incredible story, and she is working on a global summit starting in February, and she sent me a lot of information,
Awesome.
things I didn't even realize about foods and additives and the broccoli sprouts. Michelle, so welcome to our show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's great to meet everybody. So, hello.
Hi.
Michelle, where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Powell River, British Columbia, Canada, which is actually the southwest corner of British Columbia. So I don't see Russia, I don't see Alaska. But
She heard you.
wish.
we've got a pretty mellow, not hot like you guys, but a pretty mellow climate here. So we've got a beautiful sunny fall day today, and yeah, great.
Yeah, not here. It's a little humid and rainy and not so pretty out here today.
Boring.
It is storming. But I wanted you to meet these amazing people and our friends that we've had for so long because of what you're doing and putting together. So tell us about your Global Summit Alliance.
Yeah, so I'm putting together the Global Alliance for Our Children's Future, and it is a platform that has the mission to create a world in which all kids have both the right and the opportunity to breathe clean air, drink fresh water, and eat chemical-free food. And I've been working with people who've had many challenges for years and years and years. But the biggest turning point for me was with my daughter. And do you want me to share that right now?
I would love you to share. This way people understand a little bit about you and why you're so passionate about what you do.
Yeah, so I'm an occupational therapist and a registered holistic nutritionist. And when my daughter by the time she was 6, she had more letters after her name than the doctor she was seeing. So she had developmental coordination disorder, she had sensory processing disorder, she had anxiety disorder, she had ADHD, and she had aggression. And for her life, she needed a full-time assistant, and she needed to have a safety plan in order to get into school, in order to do anything. Her shoes were too tight, the lights were too bright, and the food didn't taste right. And we had her into the dentist because she had problems with the enamel on her teeth. And what happened was that she had a major reaction. And during this reaction, she was screaming and thrashing around. She ended up with a broken nose, and the nurse ended up with stitches. But the dentist identified that she had chemical sensitivities. And so following that, we literally took garbage bags and cleaned out anything we could find that had a chemical. And for her, within 3 months, her symptoms started to fall away. And she's now 16 and no longer needs a safety plan. She no longer needs to have, one-on-one assistance or anything. She's a very capable young woman, and she's able to cope. And that's the change that we saw with the food. She was able to be calm. She was able to manage stresses that came. She could think through processes. And then what I did is I took that through to the clients I was seeing, because I saw, all kinds of kids. I was a pediatric occupational therapist, and saw all kinds of kids who had symptoms of anxiety and aggression and motor control challenges. And as we looked at the lifestyle components, so we looked at stress management, we looked at the environment for capacity, we looked at the good food, we looked at exercise, we looked at sleep, all of those different components. And we'd pick away at them with the families, and symptoms would fall away. Now, I was looking at your website for accessibility, and to me it was really, really clear that you've got the big piece going on, the environment for capacity. Right? You're creating a productive environment where everybody has a chance to be self-sufficient and be able to bring forward their best gifts. So I was really excited to see that.
So I'm excited that you're all together. And you sent me this amazing video called Little Things Matter.
Yeah.
And about how it's totally changing the scope of the IQ levels of so many kids. We look at the bell curve, and there's the percentage above and the percentage below, and everything else gets lumped in the middle. But when you're actually taking all these toxins, everything slides down a little bit. From you're gifted, slides down, and your bell curve, it all shifts down to those that are even more intellectually challenged. There's even a greater slide.
Yeah, and what happened over the last 100 years, of course, is that we've been, 150 years, we've been building, in industrial chemicals in and around our world. And humans are not meant to have those chemicals in our bodies. Our bodies are meant to be clean. And what happens is that those chemicals can stay in our bodies over generations. So lead, something that was big in our world in the 1960s, and really isn't around as much anymore. 100% of our kids have lead in their bodies. So whether they were born yesterday or they're born tomorrow, they're going to have lead in their bodies because there's been so much in our world, and that's passed on now through the generations. And so these items change how people function. Now, there's all different factors that come. So there's genetics, right, that change what we're able to do. There's accidents that happen. And my daughter, as well as having chemical influences, she had a birth accident. So she still has a visual impairment. She still has a hearing impairment. And these things are not going to go away from her. But by taking out the things that don't belong in the bodies, putting in the things that do, we're able to help everybody build their capacity to their absolute best potential. And that's so exciting to see people be able to be their best selves.
And what are some of the things that we should be putting, there's so many questions, taking out of our body and yet putting into our body? The broccoli sprouts to me fascinated me. And I actually reached back out to Got Sprouts because you talked about broccoli sprouts and lowering inflammation. You and I had those when we were up on remote at Hippocrates.
Oh, how can I forget that?
However, there is a benefit to broccoli sprouts, and he is writing a whole children's curriculum for the Palm Beach County School District that I'm hoping he's going to bring forward and share with us. And we're going to bring some more broccoli sprouts onto the set for you because I wouldn't want you to miss those.
I look so forward to it.
He took
I
them.
just love broccoli.
We have to find that actually the clip because it was hilarious.
God, no. Yeah, it was real
But there
hilarious.
are true health benefits to the broccoli sprouts and what they do.
Yeah, I work with this great Dr. Jerome Yeager. He is a pediatric neurologist at the University of Alberta Stollery Children's Center. And he's been studying broccoli sprouts for probably close to 15 years now. And he looks at a thing called sulforaphane, which is when you chew the broccoli sprouts, this is the chemical that gets released. And sulforaphane is such a great thing to put in our body because it cleans our cells, so it's antioxidant. It builds brain cells. It's neurogenerative. So nerve cells and brain cells, it helps them to grow. And it also is anti-inflammatory. So when we're exposed to chemicals, our body becomes inflamed in relation to those chemicals. So even just walking down a busy street, we breathe in the exhaust, our body has an inflammatory reaction with that. And so eating the broccoli sprouts on a regular basis helps to calm that swelling in the body, the inflammation. It helps to clean out the garbage that's there, and then it builds brain cells. So it's really exciting, and we've had some work with kids. I did a process with one boy in particular. So he had the quite significant symptoms of autism. So he wasn't speaking, he wasn't told to train, he wasn't getting out the door without a meal down. He wasn't able to engage with his siblings. And what we did is, again, we cleaned house, so got rid of as many chemicals as they could identify, and then daily fed him some nutrient-dense food and broccoli sprouts. And for him, again, about 3 months down the road, I saw him in town, and his mom bends down and whispers in his ear, just a child that wasn't getting out of the house at all, not speaking. He looks up, "Hi, Michelle."
Wow.
And I did repeat testing with him, and the first time I tested him, his scores were less than first percentile, so meaning 99% of the other kids with age were better than him on the test. And then 5 months down the road, he scored 80th percentile. So getting rid of the garbage, putting in the nutrient-dense foods, and allowing the body to clean house allowed his body to signal, to process, to make sense of the information in ways that he could use. And I've done this with thousands of kids now, and we find that on average, the change in function is about a 40% improvement. So it's really amazing when we really dig into lifestyle.
All right, these ladies are looking at each other and they're looking at me, so I think you kind of like piqued their interest. You guys have a question?
Yeah, I mean, definitely something I want to know more about for Jessica because her anxiety is through the roof and she's on so much medication I just can't add anymore. So I need to, how do I find out what to take out and what to put in, and what is a broccoli sprout?
Yeah, I was going to say, before we go on, what's the difference between like broccoli and a sprout? Broccoli sprout?
Yeah, so sprouts are the start of a plant. So you can have alfalfa, you can have sunflower, you can have broccoli. So it's just the seed that's sprouting up. And they're sold in the grocery stores in those little sprouts. And if you put them on salads and sandwiches.
I know what they're.
And so broccoli is specific because when you chew it up, it releases this chemical called sulforaphane. And sulforaphane is the big stinger and nerve builder.
Okay, thank you.
Do you work with individuals on helping them with maybe putting a food plan together? 'Cause Bonnie and Denise, they live in separate homes, but they kind of coexist in the same pod. On helping them and all of these young, beautiful adults?
Yeah, so what I do is I offer it's called sense of regulation. So we've got the similar thing here. And my sense stands for stress management, environment, nutrition, sleep, and exercise. And so we look at all the foundational factors that go into helping a human be the best that we can be. And we start digging away and picking out the things that are the most important for the families and helping to clean things out. Now, you asked about anxiety, and anxiety is probably the biggest growing condition of our kids anyway, and humans as well. And the reason for that, one of the reasons, I mean, there's many reasons about what's going on in the world, but when toxins come into our body has a stress response. It's like, oh, this thing doesn't belong there. So I'm going to use a really obvious one, which would be the exhaust from cars. So you're standing on a busy street and you're smelling the exhaust from cars. This is pure pollution. And our body goes, ooh, that doesn't belong there. It creates a stress response. And then it sends out a whole bunch of cells to try and gather up the garbage, package up the garbage, and then take the garbage out of the body. Now, some bodies are really efficient at cleaning house, but a lot of bodies are not. And so these compounds get stored in the body and recirculated through the body until finally they can be processed out of the body. When this is happening all the time, the body gets really frustrated and it gets scared because it doesn't get clean air all the time. You drink municipal water, it's got chlorine in it. The body goes, oh, chlorine, we don't want that in us. And so the body exposed to all of these different chemicals becomes anxious. It's like, what do I do about this? I don't know how to manage it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about all that stuff. I'm trying to clean house, I'm trying to clean house, I'm trying to clean house. I'm not making any headway. And so it starts to look for anything that it could possibly handle that could be the cause of this issue that it can't control in the body. And so everything becomes scary. Everything becomes a threat. And the lovely thing, anxiety is one of the biggest things that we see change when we start, again, addressing the garbage, keeping out as much as possible. We can't keep all of it out because our world is polluted, but we could do a pretty good job. And putting in the good things, which is chemical-free, whole food, and things like this, is that the anxiety goes down. We're lowering the body burden, and the body has not nearly as much to deal with. So that extra anxiety starts to get less, and people get calmer. Kids get calmer because their brain doesn't have to always be thinking, what do I do about this? What do I do about that?
It's closing the tabs and the whole foods. And I think the hardest thing is probably snacks. And you guys were here recording some things for your show, and we stopped because they needed snack. And then what is the healthy snack, right? Whether you need gluten-free, casein-free, high protein, low carbs, because everyone has their individual needs of what they need.
Yeah, so when we look at snacks, it's an interesting concept because we've got into things that are processed for snacks. And what a body really needs is just simply whole food. So what are whole foods?
I guess what do we grow? Apples, oranges, vegetables. We have to be careful of the sugar content.
Tomato, peppers, the whole food, a banana, a whole food. And when we look at that, they are naturally free of most of the things that people are trying to stay away from.
I'm gluten-free.
So, what's that?
What did you say, Lexi?
You can say it again.
I am gluten-free.
She's gluten-free.
You're gluten-free, right. Yeah, so for you, any whole food, a vegetable like apples, carrots, oranges, those things are all gluten-free. There's no gluten in any whole foods, which is fantastic. It's when we start to process the foods. So we make flours for bread. We start to package things together like crackers or muffins, or we start to do those kinds of ideas that we get into extra ingredients that our bodies don't need, and it becomes really difficult.
But then it gets slightly even more complicated because diabetics can't eat bananas. The amount of sugar content in a banana, I'm allowed a quarter of a banana, if not less, so I just don't eat them.
Yeah.
And if you go into carbs, that turns into sugar, mashed potatoes, white rice, things of those, and so it becomes intricate as to what your body will absorb. And if your body has diabetes or heart disease, it becomes even more complicated. So you have to be careful what you're putting in. And also sometimes, and listen, I used to grow tomatoes in Puerto Rico. And I used to tell my father, Dad, there are bugs on the tomatoes. He says, you can't put none on a tomato because we can't sell it. So we used to take soap and water, regular soap, and spray it. And it used to keep the bugs away. I don't know why. I don't know why that works. They do it for roses too. And we had to invest in soap and water to do this. And the manual label to do that when you have acres is craziness. So you have to look at what you're ingesting, and then you have to be careful. I can't eat breadfruit and things of that nature because they have high sugar content.
Then it goes back to the organic, which we talked about. I mean, there's so many things, Michelle. You could be here for hours with us.
Yeah, there are so many layers.
Another question.
She has a question for you. Okay.
Ingredients, I drink shake.
Right.
And bread. Because I don't like sprouts and broccoli.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't feel good. Yeah, and there's individual nutrition, right? So when you start digging into that, you can go into layers. You can be talking about salicylates and high different kinds of sugar, and I mean there's so many different layers. Go ahead, Alexi.
High cholesterol.
High cholesterol?
Yeah, she has a little bit of high cholesterol.
And she also has to be careful for sugars, right?
Yeah, Lexi is type 1 diabetic, celiac, and we're battling a little bit of high cholesterol right now. So she's just telling you all that as you're speaking. She hears the different foods, and so she's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because
I'm eating salad.
There are so many choices. Like when again you get into individual bodies, right? Yeah. But the place you have to start, which everybody can start, is whole food. Yeah. You know, and again, chemical-free food. When you do that, because that's what we're meant to eat. We're meant to eat the real thing, and we're meant to eat it in its whole form. And even when you look at something like
diet makes me tired.
I know. We're going to go to commercial break. Can you stay with us, Michelle?
Absolutely.
When we come back, I want to talk about your summit you've got started in February, and then how people can reach you, because you've got so much great information. We could have you here all day. So stay tuned. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll have some of your questions, and we'll be right back.
At Common Care Advanced Laser Therapy, our professional team specializes in finding the best alternative laser therapy treatments for your painful conditions. Do you suffer with chronic pain, a post-traumatic injury, or simply looking for the benefits of cell rejuvenation to the skin? Schedule a consultation today to understand how photobiomodulation can help reduce your symptoms, reduce or even eliminate pain. Give us a call today, 561-405-9577. We focus on treating you who has a disease, not a disease that defines who you are. Contact Carbon Care Laser Therapy today, 561-405-9577 or CarbonCareLaser.com.
Introducing Black Tie Liquors, your one-stop shop for wine and spirit needs. Whether you're looking for an ice-cold pack of summer brews or just to grab your favorite bottle of Scotch whiskey, Black Tie Liquors has you covered. Come choose from a wide selection of beers, wines, spirits, or liqueurs. Or if you're in the mood, feel free to grab one of our fresh cigars. Stop by Black Tie Liquors today, located on 5970 South Jog Road, Lake Worth, Florida. Or give them a call at 561-968-0988.
Healing Moments Wellness Boutique specializes in integrating scientific and ancient therapies to relieve physical, emotional, and psychological distress. Through the power of touch, coaching, and meditation, clients experience pain relief, relaxation, healing, and detoxification. Contact Healing Moments Wellness Boutique at 561-931-2187 and experience Boca Raton's Healing Haven. Enjoy the benefits of an individualized treatment plan to help find your feelings of peace, complete balance, and wellness. Call Healing Moments today, 561-931-2187, and be rejuvenated.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Hear the crickets?
What is that?
The crickets.
Why do we have crickets?
Because Jen says the joke man.
What is it?
It's what's in my brain, the crickets.
And we're back. I'm not quite sure I know what that is. Listen, if you want to call in and be part of the conversation, now I'm going to give the joke to Jenso because now he's going to have to answer the phone. What's the phone number?
888-994-4995, Studio A.
Give us a call if you have a question. And this is a topic that can turn into many, many layers. Yes. We were just talking about vegan. We were talking about different aspects because when you have all these things going on with you, you have to watch what you eat. Mm-hmm. They took me to school, this one, a coach and my son, they took me to school to learn how to buy water. True story.
Yep. Let's bring Michelle back over and bring the ladies back over because water comes in a water bottle and the plastic, again, more toxins, Michelle?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, Michelle, there's over 1,200 bottles and she tells me, I want you to pick the 3 correct waters. So I went to the wrong ones. I went to the ones everybody bought. The ones I bought were in glass, and there were brands I never heard of. And she says, you got to do this, you got to do this, and this is, and then she showed me the reasons why. In that plastic, there's all sorts of stuff because it's been sitting on a truck. That God knows where it came from.
And the heat.
And the heat. And my son was with me, Gia was with me, and he said to me, these people are serious. Then she showed me how to get foods. If you can't pronounce it, or the first ingredient, you can't pronounce it, you can't eat it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
I learned.
There's so many great things. Michelle, how do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I can be reached by email. So that's michelle@resilienthealth.ca or 604-414-0765.
And you have a summit coming up that you're putting together.
I do, yeah. So we have the Kids Brain Summit that's going to be coming in February. And we're just starting to put that together. We're actually looking for sponsors. So we have, that one is www.kidsbrainsummit.com.
And what's the summit going to be about?
Yeah, it's going to be about everything that goes into building brains. And so it's looking at what you can do right from the very beginning, so prior to pregnancy, all the way through to changing the world, what you can do within your community to offer cleaner air and cleaner, fresher water and more whole food for your community. So we're going to be looking at very specific details on some challenges that kids may have, particular conditions like autism, ADHD, and everything in between. So it's all things brain for kids.
You guys have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to know, have you ever worked with anyone with epilepsy and seen a difference?
Yeah, so epilepsy is really an interesting process, and I'm not a neurologist, so I can't talk specifically to the individual conditions, because everybody's different with epilepsy. But I have worked with many people who have different forms of seizure disorders, and some of them respond really well to a ketogenic diet. So the higher fat diets. Now, these are often prescribed by the neurology team, so it's very specific, and I wouldn't get into the details here. But yeah, food can make a really big difference there for some people. Yeah.
A higher fat diet?
A higher fat diet, yeah, because our brains and nervous system depend on fat. And
what kind of fat, Michelle?
Yeah, so we're looking at healthier fats. So we're looking at DHA and EPA and so ALA. So very specific healthy fats that you get from things like flax seeds or chia seeds or avocado or fish oil. So these are the healthy fats.
Do you work as a nutritionist with other people? Or only with children with needs?
Yeah, I work primarily with the kids who have the needs, but I do have caseloads. I worked actually really interesting with a gentleman who had Parkinson's disease, and he started out being in a wheelchair, not able to walk more than 2 or 3 steps. It would take him a long time to do that. He required full care. And for him, he had diabetes, was medicated, and for him, he changed everything he was eating and went mainly to the whole foods. That was his biggest change, got rid of all processed foods. And for him, it was probably about 9 months down the road. He was walking again, he was back into his own home. It was really spectacular, the changes there. I have video of that process for him. It was really fun. So yeah, so I work with people of all ages, but primarily the kids.
Unbelievable.
She has a very in-depth background.
So much of what you do, and your daughter's doing well.
My daughter is doing great. Yeah, she's in grade 11, and she is hoping actually to head into vet school. So she is on that competitive track with her academics. She also, when she was 9, won an International Vocal Soloist Award. So she's been able to be on stage and things there was no hope that she would ever have done these before we made the changes.
You have a question? Sure. Go ahead, ask her.
Go ahead, honey.
My face, I got acne.
It's not acne. It's
Right.
rosacea. Rosacea.
Right. Yeah. So the reddening on your face.
Because come with itch, make me stress or anxiety.
Yeah. So that's a really good observation, and obviously you've been paying attention to a lot of the food that you eat because of the celiac and diabetes. When you look at the rosacea and the itchy skin, you're getting into more particular chemicals. So often, and again, I can't go. I need to do a whole nutrition for you.
Listen, let her answer the question.
But looking at things like salicylates. So these are coatings on something. So when you eat an apple, perhaps peeling the apple could make a bit of a difference there. So the salicylates sit underneath the skin, and it makes a difference in terms of how your body reacts with the redness, with the itching. But you can go online and you can find a food list of foods that are high in salicylates and those that are low in salicylates. And it's all whole foods. And so you can just choose from that the foods that you like that are lower in salicylates and see how that goes as a start.
Michelle, you're awesome. You have got so much information. Hopefully we'll put a show together with her because you've been on for 40 minutes and I know there's so much more and so many people you can help and kids. When I first met Michelle, I was telling her when my daughter was a baby, She had a reaction to one of the first vaccines, the MMR. I'm sorry, the DPT, the pertussis. She had a bad reaction to the pertussis. So what do? You give them ibuprofen, which is red, and you give them more because it's not working, and you give them more and then Gatorade or Pedialyte, red, until she started projectile vomiting, red everywhere. And the pediatrician said she can't tolerate red dyes or anything chemical dyes. And this was 28 years ago when no one was even paying attention to this. And all the ibuprofens, you got to look at the red number 7 and the blues and all of these things that are in all of our kids' stuff because it tastes better, it's prettier. And it takes me all the way back to learning it then and the color of the Gatorades and simple things that becomes normal for our kids. Cereals, all of this stuff.
Absolutely. Well, you look at something like the Gatorade, that's an excellent example because the names of the flavors are the colors. And Gatorade is presented as a electrolyte drink that is good for you during sports, right? So it's marketed in a way that people think, oh, this is healthy. You go to that. Well, what are they selling? Gatorade, right? And the colors that are there are all chemical concoctions that don't work well for humans. You know, they cause all kinds of symptoms. Like your daughter was lucky enough to have a significant reaction, so it was identified right away. But you know, many don't have that obvious reaction. So they have reaction, but it's a bit of a rash, or it's something that's itchy, and they can't quite place it, or they're you know, anxious, or they can't focus their attention. And so it makes it really difficult when we have all of these chemicals coming in from all these different areas.
And you asked why I made them baby food. That is why 28 years ago I made my kids their own baby food.
Michelle, that wasn't the question, Michelle. I asked her why she cooked back then, she don't cook now. That was the question.
So now I don't have to.
Now everybody has to fend for themselves.
Can I answer a question then?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Ask Michelle her question.
Ask Michelle.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Great. Yeah. My favorite movie. Oh, that's a hard one. Actually, there's a
Mine, The Rock.
Yours is what? What is yours?
Grease.
Grease. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And how about yours? What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie with my man on it.
Who's your man?
The Rock.
The Rock.
So any movie with The Rock
Anything
in
The
it.
Rock makes.
That's
From
great.
Jumanji down to Rocky 1.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could say
Manji.
that I'm making. So we're making a movie. It's called Mission Possible: Protecting Your Children in a Toxic World. And so we're just beginning the editing part of that.
Wow.
So a bit down the road, we'll have that one coming out. So that would be my favorite movie.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining us.
Yes,
it was a
thank you.
pleasure. So much more to come. I look forward to learning more, and I will give you
Yes,
guys
I would like
her
to
contact
see
information
Definitely.
and your website and all of that.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
I
Michelle.
love it,
Stay
Michelle.
safe.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Want to go commercial?
Before we go to commercial and switch over to the 1 o'clock hour, we have a video that I want to air about sensibility. I know these ladies want to go to lunch, so you want to give us a little synopsis of the video?
Sure. Last year we were approached by AOL that they chose us for their holiday heroes. And so they came to the store and took video for a whole day and kind of captured the true story behind sensibility and our team of artisans. And they made a beautiful video for us.
All right, Vinny, we have that queued up?
Put it up.
We're going to play this video, take us out to commercial. Ladies, thank you so much for spending
I
your
am
morning
slick.
with us. Alexi?
Thank you.
She said, hurry up, Slick.
Thank you, Lexi. And Jessica, have a great lunch. We love having you.
Say thank you.
Say thank you.
And be safe.
They're
We're
playing
going to play the video, take us out to commercial
We're gonna
break,
play it right now.
and flip over to the 1 o'clock hour.
Okay.
Stay
Say
tuned.
thank you.
We'll be right back.
My job, sensibility, make me happy. My friends always gonna be there for me.
This is my company. I make candles. I love my job and my friends.
Life, happy life. Yeah. Buddy, I got you there, though.
I love sensibility.
I love sensibility too.
Ow.
I do too.
Michael.
We sell candles, and we have fun, and it's a non-profit, and it helps the young adults with special needs.
My name is Bonnie Schmidt, and I'm the founding director of Sensibility. I have a daughter, Jessica, who's 35 years old now. And when she was 6 weeks old, her problem was misdiagnosed and created some brain damage in the hospital.
Hi, my name is Denise, and I have a daughter named Alexis Chung. She's 25 years old. She has Down syndrome.
When kids with intellectual and developmental disabilities turn 22, the federal government, all the funding stops, all the programs stop. There really is nothing for her to do, nothing productive.
I too ran into the same issue when Lexi graduated high school. After the age of 22, her world changed.
And we knew that we had to come up with some kind of productive life for her. I love candles. I've always been a candle lover, and one day my husband brought home a candle kit, made it with Jessica, and the rest is how Sensibility began. It's very, very important to have a purpose in life.
Everyone smile.
Howdy, heroes. Take one, Sensibility.
For each young adult that comes through here, we really look at their abilities and what they shine at, just like you would in any other job. We have some of them that really like to sell.
I'm the spokesperson for Sensibility.
I can count money very well, and I'm the money manager at every event we go to.
I get the emails and the operation associate.
We have some that just strictly like to make candles.
Hi, my name is Lexi. I'm the vice president. I make candles.
My name is Jessica. I'm the president.
I love you, Jessica.
I love Lexi.
So right now we're making a lot of our holiday candles like apple pie and cinnamon bun, and holiday time, which is our brand new holiday scent, which is beautiful and everybody loves it.
I am part of Sensibility for like 4 years, and it's been really helping me a lot. I have a disability too. I had a stroke when I was little, and Sensibility's been really helping me out. I can really breathe now, and I sleep good, and so I enjoy all my friends and girlfriend and everybody. I have so much fun. So Bonnie means a lot to me for helping me, and Denise too. They both are wonderful people.
They're like are part of our me and Kari's, Lexi's life, and they'll help us with whatever we need.
Because no matter what the ability is, however high functioning they are or low functioning are, we can find a purpose for them here.
I'm the vice president. This is my job. I have to do it right. This is my purpose.
Sensibility is my business.
And it helped me get out of the house and socialize.
When I'm here, I have to put on the professional faces. We don't want people to think we're not a professional company. We are a professional company. That's what we do. Happy holidays!
Spotlight your business, ideas, and events through our Brooklyn Café TV channel on Apple TV. Contact us at 888-224-5422 for more information. Let the whole town, even the whole country, know your message with a click of a button. Together, we inspire creativity.
Welcome to your vacation staycation. And what better way to kick back than to blend up a sweet pina colada, a smooth mojito, or just a nice stiff rum and coke. If you want true relaxation and enjoyment, then you want Gubba Rum. Gubba Rum is a unique rum infusion. Gubba Silver Rum is infused with real shredded coconut, and Gubba Rum Gold is infused with real shredded vanilla bean. Both are made with certified organic ingredients. Each infused Gubba Rum is 35% ABV, 70 proof, and as we say in Boston, wicked smooth. So if you're looking for the best combination of taste, smoothness, quality, and price, your clear choice is Gubba Rum. If you want that wicked smooth taste for yourself or your vacation, staycation, visit GubbaRum.com to find your closest liquor store that carries Gubba Rum Gold and Gubba Rum Silver. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
Mark Dane's paintings are custom designed specifically for your space. Each design will not only illuminate your space, but will also function as a truly unique light painting. Each piece is handcrafted using various dichroic glass shapes mounted at precise angles on a metal or wood panel. A specific integrated light source strikes the glass shapes to produce a combination of highly saturated colors. The light paintings can be customized to any shape, practically any size, and in any color combination. They can be configured to produce in excess of 5,000 lumens and may be placed on a table, a pedestal, in a niche, or hang on the wall. Come to the gallery at the theater and talk to Mark about placing a piece of his art in your home.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Go get your
And
GoPro.
we're back.
All right.
And we're here. You like the bell?
Ding, ding.
This one is a.
All right.
This one is a.
Lexi, she's a comedian.
She is a comedian and a half. We're gonna
Goodbye,
have to.
girls.
We're gonna have to open her own comedian show. She's funny. We.
Going to set it up because the morning time with her coffee
Right.
and those conversations with Barbie.
Oh, she's got a
We gotta
special
put that
friend,
on
Barb.
there. We have a new show that we're gonna start. We're gonna tape it on Thursday. It's called
Collectibles Cafe.
Collectibles Cafe. It's about toys. Because we are all adults, but we're always children. So he dropped these off. All right, Vinny, take it easy. He dropped these off as well. But we're going to have toys. And what I want to do is when the show gets going, I want to have the kids come in and do a show with them present. Because I sort of want to see how that whole thing works out with little toys and trinkets and stuff and see if I can get them to go crazy.
I might go crazy.
All right, bye, girls. Be safe. We'll see you. Bye, honey. Thank you. It's always fun.
Good
Always
stuff.
fun with the ladies from Sensibility.
Always, and what a sense of humor they
A
have.
great segment with Michelle Riddle from Canada, British Columbia.
Did you see she said something about brain, how the brain is made, and she was making a joke over there?
Lexi's a real comedian. You know,
She's a
in the middle of them filming, she takes Jessica's wand and puts it in her bag.
Yes.
And Jessica said, Lexi took my wand.
I love you too, honey.
And then you got to tell Lexi to give the wand back. And she totally did it just to antagonize her.
Did she give it back?
I had to go play teacher. Lexi, can you give Jessica her wand back?
They kept telling me in which direction to run in here because I was all over the place. Slick had me running today. I feel like I walked 16 miles.
I had you run.
Yes. You.
Slick
Yeah,
had
me.
you running every which way.
He did. He kept saying, okay, what about this and what about that? But it worked. We got the VMix Social. Hey, Vinny, you got the VMix Social open?
You know it.
If you want to write in or ask us a question on Facebook, you can do that now. We'll put it up on the screen. And if you want to call in, 888-994-4995, and we will put you on the air. It is all working now.
And the amazing thing that we get to do with this platform of our pivot is we have one interview in Canada today, and we've got Tony McKenzie joining us from Manchester, England.
I know this is our transatlantic piece.
So it's our transatlantic media, and I actually even sent Chenzo the graphic for it, so we can even put that up. But Tony is our happiness correspondent all the way over in England, on the other side of the pond, and she's going to help bring content from overseas over to the United States and vice versa.
Yes.
Vice versa.
She's the what? The happy content?
Our happy correspondent.
Oh, happy correspondent.
She's a psychotherapist.
I need one.
I know you do.
Joan left me up on a tree yesterday. She's another psychotherapist that she didn't answer any of my questions.
So I'll have to bring Joan back. Let's bring Tony over. Slick, may as well have a seat, wipe those mics down, and Let's see what's going on the other side of the pond.
Hello.
Hi, Tony. How are you doing?
Hey, you guys? I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? Having a good day?
We are having a great day.
Well, your day is almost over. It's 7 o'clock over there, right?
6.
It's always what it is. It's just, 6, sorry. 6 o'clock.
Oh, 6 o'clock, and it's about the tea time.
Yep. And it's about the tea. It's 6 o'clock. It's dinner time. Tony sent me all the information. I'm really excited because we're trying to come up with a name for our correspondent overseas. And
What you come up with?
we've come up with a couple things. More than executive producer, because she's doing a lot of in front of the camera as well as she brings people forward. Kind of our happiness correspondent.
You came up with that?
No, we're just kind of playing around with it.
Oh, Tony, what would you like to be called?
Yeah, we've been talking about it, haven't we, Dawn? I don't know, really. We thought we came up with Ambassador was the name that was first mentioned.
Yep.
Happiness Ambassador, or you said Liaison, but is
I don't know how to.
delay?
I don't know how to spell liaison, but okay.
Got an extra I in it somewhere, but I don't know. That sounded quite sort of fit, really. So I'm not sure.
Now I got to tell you, I knew you were coming on, so I did my homework and I watched the movie Wimbledon. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, did you?
Yes.
No, I haven't actually.
Well, she was an American tennis star. She won. She lost.
Who was
but
it? Chrissy Everett?
It was an actress. I don't know. And he was from the UK, and he was an unknown who had been playing for many, many years. That was his last tournament, and he actually won. And the whole thing was about how love pushed him to the next level to be the best. And he actually won it because they stayed together and everything else. But the thing I got to, take it easy, Vinny. The thing I got a big kick about is the language and the culture difference between the UK and the USA. I mean, I know she speaks proper English, and the two of them sort of have fun with the language, the cultures, and everything else. But at the end of the day, love conquered all. They stayed together. He went on to win Wimbledon, and he played in the stadium, and they show how the stadium is and everything else. And it's just a whole different feel on your side of the pond for everything you do. You know, you have the Queen, you have all that Parliament, you have all that stuff that we came from.
That's a little bit more proper than the craziness we've got going over here, is all I can tell you, Tony.
Yeah. Yes, well, I have seen and heard what's going on over there. Mind you, it's quite crazy here too at the moment.
But let's talk about your book, Your Flight to Happiness, 7 Steps.
Yeah.
Tell us about, because you haven't been on with our afternoon audience. You were on and when we started going through all of this on our morning audience. So let's get people acquainted to who you are and what you do, your book. You are a hypnotherapist, a psychotherapist.
That's right, and a mindset coach. So I work with people to change their mindset, create positive mindsets, let go of anxiety and lack of confidence and any issues really, by changing their mindset. Can I just ask you, there's an echo I can hear, my own voice. Is that happening at your end too?
No, you can lower the volume on your computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's called feedback on your side.
Now, has it gone off altogether now? Can you still hear me?
Yes, we hear you, but can you hear us?
Oh, I can't hear you though, if I turn it
Yes, you got to raise it a little bit. Raise it up a little bit.
Okay.
That's it.
So I wrote my book to share the 7 main lessons that I'd learned after having a kind of big upheaval in my life, which I refer to as my plane crash. I was flying along happily married with 2 cats, 2 dogs, 2 kids, and thought I had everything I wanted in my life. And then suddenly, out of the blue, something happened to, as I say, turn my life upside down, and it was kind of like my plane I was flying along on crash landed. And I found myself in a very difficult situation, which I had to resolve it, I had to deal with it, and from that very low point, I began to pick myself up, dust myself off, and rebuild my life. And it started with training in psychology. And then I trained as a counsellor. And then the more I learned about the subconscious mind, the more I wanted to work with my clients not just consciously, because the conscious mind is only 5 to 10% of your mind, whereas the subconscious mind is 90 to 95%. And there's all sorts going on in the subconscious mind that's been going in since we're very, very young, since we're toddlers. All the messages that go in that are passed down from generation to generation, our parents and grandparents' beliefs, which are not necessarily ours or what we really want to believe. And people go through their lives very often without being aware of all this stuff that's leading them to feel often not good enough or to feel anxious, and it all relates to things that have happened in childhood. In my book, which is up here behind me, as I went along and changed my life and learned these sort of lessons, life-changing lessons, I decided I wanted to share them with as many people as possible. And because I was an air stewardess before, or flight attendant, as I think you call them in the USA, I wanted to, well actually it was suggested to me to give it a flying theme, hence the title, Your Flight to Happiness, and then a 7-step journey to emotional freedom. And it is available in the USA, in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, several bookshops, as well as online in various different online bookshops. But in the UK, where most of my sales have gone, there are 75-star reviews. So it's been very successful so far and helped a lot of people to change their lives.
Now, Tony, I wanted to ask you, under normal circumstances, I get this, not a problem. But these are very abnormal circumstances, where even if you feel that you can accomplish something for yourself, in other words, you can get yourself out of bed, let's start there. And how do you transfer this into all the daily change? I mean, politically here in this country, it's a problem. Racial tensions are a problem. Everything right now is a problem. Everybody's very sensitive and everything else. How do you keep coming back and listening to or reading the words that you're talking about? How do you stay focused? How long ago did this happen to you?
Oh, it was 8 years ago now.
And you've been able to maintain this level that you're even able to write books about now.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote my book in 2016. And sorry, but something's come up on my screen I'm trying to get rid of. Right. Yeah.
And how do you maintain that level? How did you stay at that level to be able to help others?
By changing my mindset, by becoming aware of the thoughts. It's all at the root of everything. It's what we think. So we can't change what's going on around us much of the time. We can't change other people, but we can change how we react to what's going on. So it's becoming more self-aware. And when you notice your thoughts are taking you down a negative path and causing you to feel anxious, to worry about all the what if, or that inner voice that we have, that negative inner voice that can be telling us we're no good, or things are going to go wrong, or it's all our fault, or feel guilt. It's catching those thoughts and commanding that inner voice to stop. And I have various techniques that I share with my clients and in my book that can help you to do that, rather than just doing it through kind of willpower alone.
Yeah, willpower alone makes it kind of hard.
Sorry, what makes it
willpower alone is kind of hard. You think, I'm not going to think those thoughts. And you think the thoughts. Well, you have to stop thinking those thoughts. Just stop it. But I can't stop it.
You can't stay out of your own head.
Right.
And that's the biggest culprit, because it's funny. I saw a movie one time, and fear is like quicksand. And the more you try to struggle to get out of this thing, the deeper you go into the quicksand. Your mind is a very powerful tool. If you buy in, and you can sometimes psych yourself out to think that, okay, I got this. And you don't. You really don't. And you can actually sense it and see it. This is why I was asking you that level that you're at, because I can sense that you actually are holding on to that level. To teach somebody how to do that, how long does it take? What do they got to do? How do they prepare themselves?
Well, it doesn't take very long, really, when I've shared the tools and techniques that I use. I'd just like to say that at this point, obviously, when I help people to take control of their thoughts and kind of command the inner voice to stop the negative thoughts and replace those thoughts with a negative thought instead, to turn your attention towards something you feel grateful for, somebody you love or some place you love or a pet you love, you can take yourself into a different state of mind where you feel calm, relaxed and happy. However, there are times, and especially in this current situation, where people are in genuinely very difficult situations, and just kind of changing your thoughts is not going to necessarily cut it. What I normally on a day-to-day basis share with clients, it's more just, that those thoughts that are going round in their minds that are not necessary when we're worrying about the what ifs, that we're going over the past or we're beating ourselves up. Those things are making us feel bad, and we don't need to be doing it. It's just that we don't know. Nobody's taught most of us that we can stop our train of thoughts.
Right.
So in general, I share these tips, tools, techniques with people to change their thought pattern, to become aware of the thoughts very quickly. I use certain NLP techniques, if you've come across NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. That's all to do. Obviously, neuro is the mind and the nervous system. Linguistic is language. That's how we talk to ourselves with our inner voice, and how we communicate with other people verbally and non-verbally. So, I don't suggest, I would never suggest that we should all go around with a big grin on our faces and be happy no matter what's going on around us. Sometimes there are real, genuine things happening. We might be feeling really sad for a good reason, something sad has happened, or really angry or really anxious. And that's normal and natural. We're human beings. But it's when it's the unnecessary thoughts that we don't, that they're really not necessary to have. They're just that our minds are ruling us instead of us being able to rule the mind. Shall I share with you a little technique?
Sure.
That I share with my clients.
Slick, you ready for this?
And it's called the negative thought stopping exercise. So it involves a little rubber band. There's nothing magical, obviously, about a rubber band. What you do is you pop it around your wrist, and because it's not normally there, throughout the day, it will catch your eye. So you're going about your business and suddenly you'll notice it, do a kind of double take and think, what's that doing there? And what it is doing there is just reminding you, whenever it catches your eye, to pause and check what's going on up there. And as soon as you catch yourself on this train of negative thinking, you just give a command to the inner voice, just stop, firmly say stop. And you need to say it firmly because it's never been stopped before, intentionally. And at the same time, you give the band a little flick, just flick it on your wrist. It's not about hurting yourself or punishing yourself. It's just a little physical sensation along with the command. Now, it will stop if you say it firmly and you really want it to stop. As soon as you go back about your business, it'll come creeping back in because it's not used to being stopped. Excuse me. So we have to just repeatedly do it throughout the day. Whenever it catches your eye, you just go back and you just firm it. It's a bit like perhaps training a pet. You want to give a dog, teach a dog to sit or down. Perhaps it's jumping on the sofa and you don't want it to. And you don't just say it once and expect it to automatically know what you want from it. You have to repeat it, and then it gets the message. And it's just the same with the mind. When you repeatedly take control, it gets the message.
He's laughing because he wanted to do. Tell him your idea.
Nope.
Tell her.
This is about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I created the Ouch band. And I
right.
bought all these rubber bands in different colors. And every time you had a negative thought, you had to snap it. So I had to stop doing it because Dawn's wrist was turning purple. So we had to stop doing it. But I had the Ouch band. I taught a football team about 30 years ago. I used to be a coach for 6 to 12-year-old kids. And you have to line them up in football to go at the same time. It was a timing deal. And I was raised on running laps. I never agreed with that. I didn't think that the body should be punished because your timing was off. Timing is all a mental skill. So I had these rubber bands put on, and the parents were wearing it more than the kids, but it sort of works. It's muscle memory. Even when you take that rubber band off and you do something wrong, you feel it. You sort of feel it going on. So you're describing something that I wanted to do 4 years ago. And
You've already done it.
And it works.
Like, I've got my little box of multicolored rubber bands too, so I use the colored ones.
I think it's fantastic.
It's just, and it does work really quickly. Within a week, if I see a client for a session, give them a rubber band, which I do to most new clients, when they come back the next week, they're usually quite shocked and amazed, A, at how much negative stuff's been going on in their heads, and B, that the rubber band has made them so much more aware. So you don't have to continue wearing it indefinitely. Once your mind's got the message that it's not got free rein to go wherever it wants, it becomes kind of trained. And you can just let those thoughts go, you can catch them. Because if we don't have something to remind us, we're not aware of what's going on. And we have about 65,000 thoughts a day, would you believe?
Yeah.
So quite a big number. And they're all just going round and round in a loop. And the main core of those thoughts are the same each day. I think it's something like 95% of our thoughts are the same each day. And then, of course, there are new thoughts, new things happen. And then it's something like 80% of those 95% which are negative. So it's like having a worrier and a critic living inside your head, just looking for things to make yourself feel bad. So it's deciding, no, you're not welcome here. Go away. I often picture the thoughts as a cloud. Like, imagine there's a cloud up there. And like in kids' comics, they have speech bubbles and clouds when they're thinking. So you picture it up there and you think, that's a dark, gloomy cloud. That's not making me feel how I want to feel. So just send it on its way, just command it, and off you go. And replace it with a white, fluffy cloud or sunshine. And just
Tony,
choose.
You make me smile because there are times that they call me the dark cloud in here. But I do it for a reason. And I do it for a reason.
Yeah.
I do it on purpose. Because sometimes they are so wound up in trying to get to that next level of white, fluffy clouds that they sort of dwell and dwell and dwell. And they don't realize that the dark cloud looks like this. And I get negative. And Slick is always he's pointing at me off the set. You got to be positive. He's still pointing at me. But it's my being the dark cloud that highlights his fluffy cloud. Because sometimes we forget just how good we can be. We forget that having a positive light, having a good thought should be rewarded, And sometimes we forget that. So my father used to tell me, you don't know how good you have it until you have it bad. And he always taught me, look at the darkest side and you'll appreciate the lightest side. So I do this with Dawn. Yeah. For 5 years I've been playing this, okay, I'll be the dark cloud. I don't got a problem. I even bought a black hat. I have one on now. Just to emphasize, it can be bad. I know things are bad around us right now because I wanted to switch over to businesses as well. Things are really bad right now for a lot of people. And can it get worse? Man, it sure as hell can get worse.
Well, let's go to commercial break. Tony, can you stay with us?
Sure.
When we come back, we're going to talk about businesses. It's not just the United States. We are people everywhere. We've got businesses everywhere around the world. We've got women everywhere around the world. We're all going through the same thing a little bit differently, but ultimately there's a lot of stuff going on. So stay tuned. More with Tony McKenzie, and we will be right back. If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Have you ever felt that your voice goes unheard? And you think that you can make a difference if only someone would just listen? It's time for women in business to have a place to step into your power, a platform to embrace your hopes, dreams, and your visions, a voice to heal and restore. Your voice can make a difference. We have the platform to share your story and let your voice be heard. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself the chance to be heard and shine bright. Contact New Dawn Media by texting Café to 80800. That's CAFE 280800.
Pizza District is the official pizzeria of the Brooklyn Café show. They have amazing deals, great food, and an even better customer connection. Their owner, Nico, runs the friendliest and cleanest pizzeria for miles around. With their pizza made with whole wheat, gluten-free, cauliflower crust, and traditional New York style, you can't go wrong. Plus all the extras like salad and chicken wings. They are a family-run business with a great atmosphere. Call today to order your pizza and tell them the Brooklyn Café sent you at 561-961-4163. That's 561-961-4163 for Pizza District, the official pizzeria of the Brooklyn Café show.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Café Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I'm gonna tell you. I gotta tell you. I like the applause that Vinny's using now better than anything else we've had before.
Vinny's good.
It sounds very nice, and he has a few other. He does a few other of his own now.
I have to tell you, I always compliment the girls, but I really have to compliment the guys again on a Wednesday. It's the guys running everything.
And today was busy.
And you guys have gotten it done. I mean, more stuff got put on my plate this morning, and I'm going to bring Tony back over. And I went, and Chuck says to me, because my phone is blowing up at 7 o'clock this morning, and he's talking about one thing, he's going like this, and I'm like this, and he's like this, and I'm this. He says, you okay? Uh-huh. And I'm getting texts and pictures and texts, and I'm thinking, holy smokes, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. How am I going to get through the next 24 hours knowing what tomorrow has in store? Like, I had to get through today to get to tomorrow, but you got us through it. And I have to thank you because you got us through it with the boys.
I told the guys, I had a little meeting with them here, and everybody took a piece.
But I thank you. That was a tremendous help.
And did what they had to do. And listen, and by the way, I'm wearing this because I promised Kenny Love that I will wear this mask. If you get a Kenny Love mask from the Love Show, and you wear it, and you take a picture of it, we'll put it on the show. It's a call to action. These are actually fantastic masks. I gotta tell you something. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but I'm gonna be walking around with this one more. We've been wearing our masks in studio for most of the day because the kids and Dawn Vasquez is in here, and we have to be careful when they come in here. And we've been wearing this, but if you wear this mask and you take a picture, you send it to us, we'll put it on the show courtesy of the Love Show.
I want to bring Tony McKenzie back over, our transatlantic media network correspondent, all the way over Manchester, England. And we're talking this morning, we're going to get into businesses. Tony, I got these texts this morning that blew up my phone. And all for good things, but it was just more layers of work. And I could feel, I was like this. And then I get in the car, and it's like a hurricane level 5 outside. And I'm driving in this horrible rain. I'm thinking, how am I going to get through today? And I walk in, I said to Freddie, I think I'm going to cry because I've got this and this and this. And I did not even know how I was going to make it through today. But I had built all of this stuff up in my head. And it was all about delegating to our crew. And he said, all right, you guys take this piece and you take this piece and you take this piece, send it to Dawn and she will do post on it. But I had built up all this anxiety about something, and it was only 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Are you working
very
with...
stressful.
And I'm sure this is not just me, right? You're feeling this as well with your clients and businesses.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a heck of a lot of stress. And it is hard when you've got a lot to do and only so many hours, and perhaps people are asking you, kind of breathing down your neck, or have you done this yet? But there's only so much you can do. I often go into big companies under normal circumstances and talk about stress management. There's only so much you can do, and it's if you can just take one thing at a time and be in the now and try and put the other stuff that you've got to do later in a box somewhere in your mind, and just take one thing out. Because when you get stressed thinking about all this stuff, it's not helpful, is it? It doesn't help you to get your work done because your mind's scattered. And so if you can kind of just be focused on one thing at a time, and again, tools can help you to do that. But, and again, it isn't what's happening around you, it's how you're reacting to it. Two people can be in an almost identical situation, and one will get stressed about all the work that's got to be done or what's going on around them, and another person might acknowledge that there's a heck of a lot to do there, but they'll just take a deep breath and think, okay, I can only do so much, there's no point getting stressed about it. And they just kind of are quite laid back, they still do what needs to be done. But it's their mental attitude again, it's the mindset.
Changing the mindset. You wanted to talk about businesses, and really the whole premise behind the Transatlantic Media Network.
Well, the essence is there's always going to be something going on. There's always a mistake in everything we do. No matter what you do, to get it picture perfect is very rare. It is the adjustment to that mistake, fixing it, and going on that happens. Businesses right now, there are business owners that are congratulating me because they want to talk, because they want to put their goods digitally or whatever into the UK, into Europe and everything else. And we want everything from there over here. This is the premise. I got some people in California to get involved as well. So it's going to go from California, Florida, UK, and hopefully all of Europe. The problem that I'm having is that a lot of business owners are getting in their own heads. And they are thinking, how do I do what I do, and how do I do it? I'm past that. I already know that I can do, like Dawn said today, if there are 12 things we have to do, we work at it one at a time. My thing is, I want to change the angle of what we do. So here I have you on the show, 1:30 in the US, and we're going to talk about businesses and how those businesses now are delivering their message on a different platform, a different ideology. I know we got problems, but if you have a book like you have today, a book that will help businesses here as well as there, how do we get into it? I should have businesses join us in the conversation, because a lot of businesses are going to tell you they're the best, they know what they're doing, and they haven't opened the doors because they're scared to death.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, not rightfully so, that's not even what I want to touch about. But I want to know, how do we get business owners not only to open up and say, okay, let's go, doing it safely, doing it cleanly, but doing it differently. I want to create platforms that are different delivery models for the same product. A book is a book. Buy this book, I'm going to help you. I get it. Buy this book and let me show you who it's helped and how and why, and get an idea. That's a different animal. That's never been done. They tell you buy the book and that's it. But I want to know, why am I buying it? Show me. And we talk to business people that have used the book. We talk to people that have used the model. That's what I wanted to expand on this deal, because right now we're all stuck wondering, what are we going to do? Well, you're going to open up your doors and then what? So how do we make it better? How do we change its delivery? And how do we make it that you never saw it coming? Like nobody ever saw you coming. And here you are.
True.
So I want to get into the business aspect. Tell me a little bit about what's going on business-wise in your neck of the woods.
Well, it keeps changing actually. We went in Manchester, north of England, only yesterday or the day before. We're now in 3 tiers. So there's kind of bad, very bad, and extra bad, the situation around us. And we've been put into the 3rd one. So pubs and bars have been completely closed again around this area. And they were closed, everything was closed for some time. I imagine they were there, all the shops and restaurants and social places. And then they started to open more places up, allowing them to open up, and people put everything in place, wearing their visors, their masks, and having the hand sanitizer. And now but it's still been spreading, so they've now clamped down again. So it really depends on the business as to how you can change. Some businesses are just not allowed to open at all. Wow. So they've got no option. And some have done as much as they possibly can do to keep safe, only allowing so many people into an area, whether it's a restaurant or a shop. And so many people.
Yeah, I'd seen.
Online, of course.
I actually saw on the news this morning that they're closing things down in segments and in pockets in Manchester, and I thought, how serendipitous that we have you coming on today from Manchester, and I thought that's pretty unbelievable. But it's interesting how you categorize it as bad, very bad, and extra bad. It's
so
really interesting.
So even the ones who are allowed to have bars open, and also mixing with, at the moment, we're not officially allowed to leave Manchester, to leave the surrounding area, to go to another area. Even Liverpool, which is in the northwest, where my family live, I can't go and visit them. They can't come and visit me. Wow. Up until a couple of days ago, we could meet up with friends outdoors. We could sit outside and have a coffee, a drink. But we couldn't meet up with them indoors inside a restaurant unless we're in the same family, the same household. But now we can't even meet up with people at all. So it's the one thing that they've allowed in Manchester is for gyms to stay open, because they've closed them in Liverpool, which is only a short distance away, 30 odd miles away. But businesses, so many businesses. There's a lot of talk online about pivoting. And an awful lot of people have changed the way they're doing their business, if that's possible. Obviously, if you're in the hospitality business, you can't really turn that around unless you're selling foods. But even myself, even before COVID, I was planning on creating an online course because they're very popular. People love downloading courses. Whether they do them or not, it's another thing. But so many people I know, and every time I switch the internet on or go onto Facebook or whatever, I keep getting messages or reading things from people like, join my new group, or do my course, and it's flooded really at the moment.
It is
but
flooded.
That's what a lot of people are trying to do. If they can't actually. In fact, when it first happened, the clients I had booked in couldn't come and see me in person. And when I let them know that I'd be open to seeing them, working with them on Zoom, most of them said that they'd rather wait, because at that time, last March, we thought it would only be a short period of time. But of course, as time's gone on, people have realised that if they want some help now, before things get too much worse, they need to see somebody online. So my business has picked up again, my one-to-one business. But it really does depend, doesn't it? In answer to your question, Freddie, it depends on what the business is and how it can potentially be changed.
Interesting. In Italy, they have wine windows or liquor windows. During the Black Plague, they used to have holes in these buildings. And you go, you ring the bell, and they give you a glass of wine or whatever you want to drink, the cocktail. But it's a hole in the window with a little window. And you sit there. They have these things you can sit there. I thought that was brilliant. The problem is that you're going to sit there with other people, and now they're going to change that. But I thought that was brilliant. It's a bar, but there's a window. And you sort of drink outside. You don't drink inside. Everything is kept outside. I thought that was brilliant for a pivot.
And how do we see, I'm tired of pivoting though, Tony. I think we all pivoted in March, and we made the adjustments. Exactly. And now I don't want people to still be getting ready to get ready, because 7-8 months into this, if you haven't made the adjustments to go and to grow it, whatever your pivot was, then I feel like you've lost traction. If you're still sitting at home in bed and you haven't adjusted your business, there probably isn't a business left anymore to adjust. And if you have adjusted, now's the time to share it, to get it out there, to tell people this is an alternative. Maybe I'm in Manchester, or maybe I'm in Liverpool, or maybe I'm in London, maybe I'm in Spain, whatever it is. but to come together and support each other and share your messages of business and what it is, especially if we can do this online. If it's products, there's still the mail, there's still FedEx. I mean, there's still ways to get product from overseas to the United States and vice versa. But I want to bring the women that you're in contact with, because there's women's groups everywhere, and say, you know what? We want to hear what you have to say as well. Take the politics out of what we hear is going on in Manchester. Take our crazy political system out of the United States. But we are all people, and we're all here to support and build each other up if we take all this politics away. And that's what I am looking to do with this transatlantic media connection. Bring other authors forward, bring other women's groups forward. She's got some British femmes that she works with that happen to live in Spain. What's it like in Spain? And what's the pulse of the community? And truly take all this media hype out of it and see really what's going on, and how can we help and collaborate as people.
Yeah, absolutely. And the women's networking groups, the ones that I'm a member of or I'm part of, have been incredibly supportive, and people can talk in private groups about their worries, their concerns, and get advice and promote their stuff or their service. I think women have really been very, very supportive with one another.
And men also. We're not leaving men out of this. She just happens to be part of a women's group.
No, I'm gonna say something that I'm probably gonna get hate mail about, but I would tend to believe that the push right now for, and I know you hate the word pivot, but the push for change right now is more on the women's side than the men's side. Men sort of will do whatever needs to be done to get there. But I think that the creativity, from what I've seen in our studio.
Maybe we talk about it more.
Well, I think that the creativity is there because women are emotional species. And they don't even just paint the art, they sell it. Like Amy Rashevsky was in here. She just came in from North Carolina. It's all the different aspects that I'm looking at. And all the ideas coming, I think, have more to do with women right now than men. I'm not saying that men don't have ideas. I'm just saying that women are like pushing it further along, which is great. I mean, guys got to catch up. That's all. It's no big deal.
So we're thinking of maybe doing this once a week. Tony's making some introductions, and have Tony on to introduce the femme or the business and share how she knows them, the collaboration, and how we can bring this forward, and then vice versa.
I like it. I like it also because there are other segments of things that we do, Tony, that I want to bring into the mix as well. Because like I said, I don't like to stand still. I know that what you're looking at here today, and Dawn was just saying, I love this. We were in Canada, and now we're in the UK, and we could be in Spain. This technology, we've been doing this for 12 years. This is nothing new to us. We laugh when we saw everybody's jumping on Zoom, and Zoom gave them issues. There are still some issues with Zoom. And we do it this way with no issues because we're double encoded and everything else. But this to us is the norm. This is what we had anticipated 12 years ago would be the way things are being done on business levels. So why not? Let's come out of the box and try something new.
And how do people get your book, Tony?
Well, on Amazon, it says when you go onto my book page, it actually says temporarily, I don't know if it says unavailable or there's a wait or something, but they tend to say that it's actually print on demand, so Amazon can get hold of them, as many as they want to, the next day.
Wow.
So if anybody goes on Amazon and sees that, order anyway, and you'll probably get an email to say it's on its way within days. Our friend Brenda, when she tried to order it, and she saw that Amazon, there was a delay, she went on to Walmart's website and got it very, very quickly.
Okay.
And say Barnes and Noble. So so people in the USA just start with Amazon, have a look at Amazon, and then there are usually a list of other sellers underneath, apart from Amazon, alternative sellers. So and also there is an ebook. So if you don't want to wait for the paperback, then you can always get the ebook very quickly. So
I'm going to have to download that. Your Flight to Happiness, a 7-step journey to emotional freedom. And I believe you're going to be interviewed on the editor's desk on Friday?
I am indeed, with the lovely Brenda.
Fantastic. Another, and we met Tony through Brenda, and I met Brenda through a group, and it's all about bringing this together, and hopefully by the grace of God we get out of this all healthy and we can move on, and maybe actually one day we all get to meet in person, but until then we need to keep empowering each other and sharing our stories. And you know what, I think maybe a course or an online something about your book and the 7 steps to emotional freedom, and really walking people through how do we do this? How do we get out of our heads? How do we find emotional freedom? It's not always easy. I am sure the book takes us through your story, and sometimes you had good days and sometimes not so good days, and the ups and downs, but at the other side of this, you now help others.
Exactly, yes. I picked myself up and rebuilt my life, and now, when I wrote the book, and continuing to now, I want to help other people see how they can, give them the tools and techniques. And mentioning emotional freedom, 7 steps to emotional freedom, that's one of the techniques. It's also known as tapping. Have you come across that? Emotional freedom technique, or tapping, where you tap on acupoints. It's based or derived from acupuncture, and it works on the energy flow and gets rid of the blockages, as does acupuncture. But no needles are involved, so it's a self-help tool, you can use it yourself. And in each of my 7 steps, there is a technique. That's one of them it's described, explained in the book, all the details. And that really helps to just calm everything down. So, Dawn, when you were feeling overwhelmed this morning with all these texts and whatever, you could, if you know how to do this method, you can just do some tapping on these pressure points, and you feel everything just go down and down until you feel calm. So nothing's changed outside, but you have changed how you feel about it, and you're not getting worked up and feeling stressed. So that's an amazing technique for people to use as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this whole collaboration, our happiness correspondence. Yes. Thank you, Tony. Stay safe. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for coming in late. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tony.
Good to see you.
Pretty cool.
It is. It's an interesting concept that we've, some of the concepts in here, you go for it and you try, and for whatever reason, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But this one I like because it's not in our backyard. This is something across the other side, and and we're trying to change the dynamics of everything that's incorporated on this stuff, which is really good. And we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fun.
What I really like seeing is that it takes the propaganda of the media, traditional media, and politics out of the mix. I remember when, years ago, we took the kids to Israel, and it was this fear of, do you go, do you drive where you're not supposed to, are you near the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, and all of the tanks, and this fear that all of the media had perpetrated that we were watching it. And you got there, you felt totally safe. Whatever was being done that it wasn't so in your face, and you felt safe. And you thought, you know what, that's our media taking it maybe from somewhere else. And this is the United States sharing this media. So today when I saw this piece on Manchester, England, and what was being shut down, they see the craziness in our politics and our election coming up in the next couple weeks. It takes all of that out. We actually get to hear person to person, conversation to conversation of what it's like. And you take all this other stuff away, and we're all people just trying to get through this and raise our families and feed our families and keep our business going, keep our mental health somewhat stable, and keep going in this lifetime and take all the other noise away.
Well, the funny thing is that media in this country controls thought. And I hate bringing this up, but during World War II, it's what the Nazis did to control the masses. And this morning I was watching the news, and then they got upset at things that were being said. There are people that are reactive, and then there are people that are not. But then you have a certain group of people that can manipulate situations, and that's what the media can do. It can tell you, don't go to this place because it's burning down, and you get there, just like you described, and everything is fine. But they do that because, number one, either they don't want you going there, they don't want the numbers going there. For whatever reason, they have their own agenda. Is their agenda in your best interest all the time? Can they twist it and say, I did this because we didn't want to have 1 million people go there and get sick. Good defense.
But what I like about this is you get to actually see the human side of this, the human interaction, the feel-good stories, the non-feel-good stories, but the stories that people are going through, and you take all that other stuff away.
What I'm laughing at right now, there are texts that you got to see this to believe it. There are people that use the platform, and you start out, and you do a basic platform, and you go in there and you say, "Hi, my name is Jane Doe, and I'm going to help you get over this." And they do this. And everybody's running around and their numbers are increasing. There is more popularity. You know, oh, look, Jane Doe's on the air. And they get known. But they don't change anything in the delivery or the message. It stays the same. And you go through this and you go through the motions. And then one day something happens. And they want to change everything because they want to increase the deal. And they'll go, "You see, you didn't tell me. And I didn't tell you what? That you had to change your deal? This is all we do all day." You know what I'm saying? So in order for this to work, you got to put something in it. This is not add water and walk away. It's not the way it works. Not the way. What we're doing right now, you got to be proactive, inward, outward, and everything around you. So you want the truth? Here it is. Now, can they manipulate the truth? Can they make it so?
I can't wait to see this story.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is what you got to look at, and this is one of the reasons I want to do the kids show. I want to do Sendability. I want to do all the new things that we've been talking about, and we put them into networks. You got the Kids Television Network. I want to do the Health and Wealth Network. I want to do the Atlantic Media Network to separate it, because we're getting bogged down here over political strife, and that political strife. I gotta tell you, whoever wins the politics, the presidency, which now today I was told by Channel 12, I want to thank you, warned, you're not going to get an outcome for perhaps days or weeks.
That may be correct, because now different states are allowing votes to come in 3 days after the election. And then how long will it take to tabulate that?
30 years.
So that'll
We
be
may
interesting.
never have another new president for the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You don't know. You don't know. And the funny thing is, mentally, what it's doing is creating anguish. There are people fighting with each other now. 37 million voters already have voted.
And if they're not fighting, there's this hovering anxiety in a household, at least in my house. Did you see what this happened? And did you see this? And do you see this? No, I didn't. I don't want to. I don't choose to. I don't really want to hear about it either. But this is what goes on in the phone calls and the conversations. And it weighs on you.
But why?
Why does it weigh on me?
No, why bring up, did you see, did you see, did you see?
This
And let me raise a flag, let me burn a flag, let me get this, why do you got to get so ridiculous?
Some people thrive on that and they love it.
But why?
And then others don't. I actually texted my girlfriend yesterday who's very into politics, and I said, can you send me a sheet on the amendments? Because I really don't know the pros, the cons, the truth. So she sent me a website that was way too tedious to look at on my phone, so I have to go on the computer. She says, here you go. It gives it the pros, the cons, what we recommend, choose what you want. But at least it gives me a list of things. I will make my own decisions and go from there.
The Constitution?
The amendment changes that they're proposing on the
forget about it.
ballot.
I looked them up. I still can't figure it out. But the bottom line is, can we agree to disagree? You respect the office of the presidency. Whoever wins. Whoever wins. Like if Hillary had won, am I going to get vile because she's our president?
It's interesting, but we're in the middle of this other issue and businesses and how in schools and what's happening. And actually, I wanted to talk to Slick before he left, but
he had to go do something. But the bottom line here is that no matter who gets in, neither one is going to resolve this problem. We got a problem.
Sure.
We got a deadly bug among us. And if we're not careful, and whether you want to wear a mask or not. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you wear a mask, when I wear a mask, I'm protecting Dawn right now. Correct? I'm not protecting me. I'm stopping my germs from hitting her, allegedly, enough that it makes a difference. If the other person doesn't wear a mask, I'm in the soup, or I can be in the soup. You walk in an elevator that people were in there, and if the virus is lingering in the air and you're not wearing a mask, you're in the soup. I mean, the bottom line here is this is really simple. No matter who gets into the White House, that's not going to resolve your real problem. You may think so, or they want you to believe so, but until we take accountability for what we do, we're going to have a problem not only for the next 4 years, but maybe longer. And that's what concerns me. Not being able to see my grandkids, not being able to spend time. And my son said, oh, Dad, don't worry about it. What do you mean don't worry about it? Of course I got to worry about it. So you have to be up, you got to man up, you're going to have to stop fighting with one another. You know, I wish that we had an election, unity or divide. That's all we need. And if you don't want to be part of the equation, then formulate another government, another country, put everybody on one side or the other. Is that ridiculous?
It's just so much to do, and there's so many things I would prefer to do than talk about this stuff. Like
politics?
Like have our friends from Sensibility, like have Michelle Riddle all the way.
You're affecting their life.
But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, Michelle can give a bit of information to these moms to feed their kids a better snack, to maybe help with seizures, to maybe help lower sugar, to maybe make their lives a whole lot better while they have to stay in quarantine.
Yeah, but look
this is every day.
Yeah, but look what happens. Those kids, they turn a certain age and there's no more help for them. Okay? And the government or
you think
nobody
that's
will
change?
help.
Doesn't change. It's not going to change no matter who gets elected.
But this is my point. We're focused on the White House. That's not going to help these kids.
Right.
The only thing that's going to help these kids is if people come out of their pocket and say, okay, here's a donation. Let me help you get a house. You know, for us, we get up in the morning, we have a cup of coffee, we do this. For them, getting up in the morning is life or death.
Wait till you hear their stories.
I mean, this is what it's all. This is the reason why we're even doing this show, is to show the other side. We're killing ourselves and fighting with one another when the truth of the matter here is that the guy that wins the White House is not going to change your life. Or maybe he will, because all of a sudden buying a carton of eggs is going to cost $25 and they can't have it no more. Maybe they can't have those Brussels sprouts because they're too expensive. Maybe the person that has 3 or 4 kids can't feed them because, you know what? There's no work. So the bottom line here is that your congressman, your senator, and I've been saying this since Jump Street, put them in a room with no mask and let them decide, no income, take away their paycheck. Make them like us because they get health care. They get $150,000 worth of medicine the president does. You and me, we can't afford that. So put them in a room that we're all even, and let's see if we can get something done. I guarantee you we'll get stuff passed. And that's the problem. We're fighting one another when we're the answer. Instead of being together, we're not. That's the deal.
Time to come together.
It's time to do that, man.
Have a great day, everyone. Check out today's show. Really, really informative about children, foods, nutrition, toxins, what we're putting in our bodies. We did not even get into what's being put on pajamas for kids, the fire retardant to prevent fires, but the toxins that we're breathing in. Take a look at Hour 1, our friends from Sensibility, and then Tony McKenzie. Just hashtag rewind, take a look, take a listen, be part of our transatlantic media network. More to come. Have a great day. Please be safe, drive carefully. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. drive time.
And don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. Well, see you next time.
torn and sleepless nights. I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can pick in every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna save it. Your moons and craters. Open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche. Helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an avalanche, like an avalanche. I listen for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping thrills and colors. Just a ray of light.